Hey, Trent Hiott here with Sky Insurance Tech, and today we're going to talk a little bit about IRS penalties that are associated with ACA reporting. Each year, these penalties come out, and so we want to talk a little bit about what that means for this year, because the 2017 letters are hitting inboxes right now. Hey, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Let us know what type of content you'd like to see us cover next. Thanks. So recently, we've been receiving a lot of phone calls regarding penalties associated with improper filings or failure to file Forms 1094 and 1095-C for large employers. Right now, the IRS is sending out letters, and people are receiving these letters, and what they are receiving right now is a letter 5699. So a lot of employers, when they open this letter, they are alarmed, and rightfully so. This could be associated with impending penalties. But right now, we are in the spring of the year 2019, and the IRS is sending out notices regarding the tax reporting year 2017. Previously, the IRS has already sent out penalty letters associated with 2015 and 2016, but right now they are filling out and filing and sending out these letters for 2017. So I want to talk a little bit today about what you should do if you receive a letter 5699, what this means, and how you should properly respond. All right, so really quick before we get into the meat of the information, what's the difference between a letter 5699 and a 226J? And I know that there's a lot of numbers and a lot of letters associated with this, so I can hopefully shed some light on this. Letter 226J is the actual penalty letter associated with failure to file or improper filings of Forms 1094 and 1095-C for large employers. When you receive a letter 226J, that means that you actually owe the IRS a penalty. A good way to look at the letter 5699 is the IRS's attempt to collect more information on your company. So what they have done is, in their database, they have designated or identified you as an applicable large employer who would have needed to file Forms 1094 or 1095-C. Also, on their side of things, they would have not seen your filing or may have flagged an improper filing. So 5699 is really an attempt by the IRS to gather more information on your company prior to sending a letter 226J. So the goal of the letter 5699, at least for the employer and from the employer's perspective, is to be able to provide the IRS with the proper information to avoid the impending letter 226J, at which point, if you did receive, just to recap, if you receive a 226J, that is the actual penalty letter. That's what we're trying to stay away from here. So 5699 is your chance to clarify and kind of iron things out with the IRS prior to receiving a 226J. So the letter that I'm talking about today, the 5699, that has started coming out this year in 2019 for the tax year 2017. So really important that I make that clear that we're talking about 2 years back, so not 2018, but 2017. So if you receive one of these letters, you have 30 days to respond back to the IRS with any information that they are requesting from you. I want to go over briefly the things that you should do if you receive this letter, and then lastly, I'll talk about how we can help if need be. Really, there are only 4 options that you have when you receive a letter 5699. The first option is to acknowledge that you are an ALE, an applicable large employer, who did in fact file your 1094 and 1095-C in compliance with the regulations. Provide proof of your transmittal forms and copies of your Form 1094-C and possibly 1095-C if the IRS requests those. Your response to the IRS should satisfy their need for data collection. So your second option is to acknowledge that you are in fact an ALE that did not file your Forms 1094 and 1095-C. What you would need to do in your response to the IRS is actually include your completed Forms 1094 and 1095-C. This will hopefully satisfy the IRS's need to gather further information from you. So that would be our recommendation. This does not mean that you will not incur future penalties associated with late filing. However, this should satisfy the IRS for the time being. You submit these forms within 30 days of receiving letter 5699 and then await further correspondence from the IRS. Your third option is to acknowledge that you were an ALE for the tax reporting year in question and that you did not file your Forms 1094 and 1095-C, but that you do plan on filing your Forms 1094 and 1095-C. When you respond, you need to properly include your employer name and the employer identification number, as well as the date in which you intend to have the filings to the IRS. Submit this within 30 days of receiving your 5699 and then await further correspondence from the IRS. Your fourth option is to declare that you are receiving this letter in error and that you were not actually an ALE for the tax reporting year in question. You need to check the box that says Other and then provide supporting documentation to prove that you were not an ALE for the year in question. So lastly, it's important to note that failure to respond to the letter 5699 in a timely fashion, which is within 30 days, can result in even further penalties. So you don't want to do that. So if all of this seems a little bit overwhelming, or you have special circumstances, which a lot of employers do, regarding your benefit plan offering, being part of an aggregate or a control group, having union employees and workers, there's a lot of questions that can come along with this reporting that can make it quite complex. If you have these questions, you can reach out to us today at Sky Insurance Tech. This is part of what we do. We have penalty consulting services in which we offer a true full service approach. You can partner up with one of our account managers that can usher you through the entire process, from informing you of what to expect to actually helping you walk through the steps in responding to the IRS. We also have a partnership with one of the best ERISA attorneys in the country who can provide legal advice and continue to keep you up to date with trends and expectations. So if that's something you're interested in, visit us today at skyinsuranceTech.com. The phone number's on there. Get a hold of us and let us help you today.